A very good evening to all the lovely listeners. It's time for Children's Bedtime Treasury with Let Emotions Speak. Today's story is about the giant who shrank. Once upon a time, in a far off land, there lived a huge giant. He made his home in a big cave, high up in the mountains. His bed, table, and chairs were made from great tree trunks. And when he wanted a drink, he simply filled an old bathtub with water and drank it down in one enormous gulp. When he snored, which he did almost every night, it sounded like a thunderstorm and the noise echoed all around the mountains. At the bottom of the mountains there was a village, but all the people in the village were very different from the giant, for they were not big at all. They were just like you and me. They were afraid of the giant, of course, and whenever he came striding down the mountains to hunt, they all ran into the woods or locked themselves inside their houses. Sometimes the clumsy giant would tramp around the village, squashing houses with his great feet as he went, and the only made villagers even more frightened of him. Although the giant was so big and strong, he was not a bad giant, but he was very, very lonely because everyone ran away whenever he appeared. Sometimes, while he was sitting alone in his cave, he could hear the villagers having feasts and parties, and he longed to join them, be just like them. One day, when the giant was tramping around the village, as usual, something glinting in the sun caught his eye. At the top of a big tree, which of course was not very big as far as the giant was concerned, lay a gold box. The giant bent down and picked up the box. To his surprise, he heard a small voice inside say, "Help! Help! Let me out!" The giant opened the box and jumped out an elf. Thank you, sir," he said. "I am a magic elf, but one of my spells went wrong and I got locked inside this box. No one in the village could hear me calling for help high up in this tree." To show his thanks, the elf said he would grant the giant one wish. "I wish I could be the same as all the other villagers," boomed the giant. "What a difficult wish," said the elf. "You are so big, but I will do my best." The elf closed his eyes and chanted a big spell. But nothing seemed to happen. The giant was still as big as ever. The giant was very sad to discover that he had not shrunk, but he wished the elf well, thanked him for trying, and went on his way. As the giant was walking back to his cave in the mountains, he noticed something strange. All the puddles of water that he had passed on the way down to the village had got bigger. They were as big as lakes now. The giant looked up to see if it had been raining, but the sky was clear and blue. Then another strange thing happened. The big stone steps he had cut in the mountainside leading up to his cave had also got bigger. He could hardly clamber up them. Eventually, puffing and panting, the giant reached the door to his cave, but he could not reach the door knob. It now towered above him, far from his reach. "What is happening?" thought the giant. "The elf's spell must have gone wrong. Not only I am still a giant, but everything around me has now got even bigger." Suddenly, the truth came to him. Of course, everything had not become bigger. He had become smaller. The spell had worked after all. Now he was just the same as the other people in the village. He made his way to the village, wondering if everyone would still run away as before. But he did not have to worry. All the villagers welcomed him into the village, and he lived there happily among them for the rest of his days. So, how did you like the story? Tell me in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel for more amazing bedtime stories. Do you know which is the tallest building in the world? It is the Burj Khalifa. It is 828 meters long. It is situated in Dubai, and Dubai is a city in UAE. Do you know what is the capital of UAE? It's Kuwait. And what is the currency of UAE? It's a dirham. With this information, it's now to say goodbye. Good night, sleep well, and see you tomorrow.